episode 180, Exercise, Become Happiest.
You're listening to the very best podcast in the world on health, wealth, and happiness. Please remember to leave a review and share with all your friends and family. And here is your host, Lars Hilser.
And on this fourth day of June in 2021, welcome to today's Friday's exercise episode of the very best podcast in the world, your only source in the universe for personal supremacy through health, wealth, and happiness. Now, as always, this is the good type of exercise where you don't necessarily have to get up off of the couch while listening to this. It's the weekend, after all. But I know that a lot of you, well, not that a lot of you, but the exercise episodes are just the episodes that are most frequently downloaded. And so there, I have to have kind of struck a nerve there or something. I don't know. Anyhow, Become Happiest is probably, I don't know if it's just statutory rape of the English language. No idea. But anyhow, it's supposed to make a fucking point. And we're going to get to that. But before we do that, it's housekeeping. And as always, I reach out to you and beg you on my knees to basically share the message of this, no, not the message of this podcast. Share the fucking episodes. That's it. Done. Well, this podcast is altruistic. I'm spending time investing into it to help people. And while this episode or any other one that you have listened to may not resonate directly and entirely with you, but perhaps there's somebody in your immediate or distant vicinity that could actually benefit from the advice that I try to give in this podcast. So that being said, share this episode. Go to theverybestpodcastintheworld.com, and under each and every episode, there's a like a majigger button, send to a friend majigger through social media channels and whatever not. At least the last time I checked, I haven't been on the website for ages, to be perfectly blunt, but it was there. So if it's not there, send an email, put the urgency to very high, and send it to the very best podcast in the world at gmail.com. Now that we have that covered, what in the fucking hell rode my, or warped my mind to call the episode Become Happiest? Well, I came across this very true quote that I found, which was that happy people focus on things they have, while unhappy people focus on the things they want and don't have, obviously. And I look back really a lot on the now 42 years I've spent on this gorgeous planet, and reflected upon times when I was, extremely happy, and at those times which I wasn't really happy. And clearly, for me, the times that I was happy were, much more plentiful. And that started basically at that time where I detached from public opinion. So the time when I stopped giving a fuck about, what other people think of me, I was like, not set free. That would be too melodramatic. But it was a big relief because I just didn't care anymore, right? Those people who would stick with me, those were my true friends. And other people who thought of me differently because I wasn't, kind of submitting to fashion dictates and those kind of ordeals, they were, I could live without them brilliantly, and that's when, the time came when I realized how blessed I was. I'm like pretty healthy. I've got food on the table. I've got a roof over my head. I've got thousands of dollars worth of, IT play majiggers, which, can keep my mind entertained 26 of 24 hours a day. That's why I sleep so little, because, I'm just so fucking interested in learning shit that, sometimes I just end up, boom, it's 4 a.m. And then I get up and it's like, holy shit, I have to record a podcast episode because, there's a due date. And, while I don't do that anymore, I don't really keep appointments and don't really live by a schedule and try to avoid that like the devil avoids the holy water. I've kind of, made this podcast a mission really to get myself reintegrated into it, bizarrely. But I think, with the experiences that I've made in my rather short life, well, technically I've lived half of it now, according to charts. I'm doing plenty by eating very good food and, otherwise living a healthy lifestyle that, I will extend that. But, statistically, I've scratched off half of my brownie points already. So, that goes to say, I don't know what I'm trying to say with this. Anyhow, I'm fucking blessed. And given the fact that you are, listening to this podcast probably on, a rather expensive electronic gadget, kind of implies that, you've got a roof over your head and, implies that you have food on the table, because otherwise you'd be, out there somewhere, trying to, beg for food or whatever. A lot of us are more blessed than we think. So that's the point I was trying to make. So, sorry for getting out of control again. What the goal of this episode is to kind of highlight how blessed you are and to focus on that. And from the energy that lives, in these positive thoughts, to make you aspire new goals and things you don't have, but in a positive context. So there's the point. So, where was I going with this? Right. I'm a bit distracted today. Don't know why. It's been a long day. So, what we're going to do to emphasize the positive and kind of fade out the negative is we've got to kind of rewire the desires, right? So we have to set them in the background, which is the reason that a sheet of paper, kind of in a table format, it's like the things that you have, right? Write them down. The essentials, you more likely than not will have clothes on your body. At this point, I hope. So, you will more likely than not have a roof over your head, right? No matter how luxurious or unluxurious it may be. Do you have shelter? Are you safe? Those are essential questions that you have to ask yourself every single fucking morning. I'm not talking about, monetarily safe. Anything could happen. You could lose your job for unforeseeable Rona reasons or whatever. I'm talking about, is the roof over your head, something that, you can seek shelter in? Do you have friends that would, give you shelter if shit went south? Right? Who are those friends? Have you reached out to them lately? Good time to say hello, kind of get the connection back up and running if you haven't talked to someone in a while. Now, what else could make you happy? Do you have plenty of food, right? Can you feed yourself? Are you spending obscene amounts of money on, eating out? Is that something that maybe you want to reconsider? Because, at the end of the day, you don't know what the people put in the food that you get on the table. I've been to some 5-star restaurants where I took a peek in the kitchen accidentally, quote unquote, and I was kind of disgusted. Kitchens are kitchens, always and everywhere. And all of these things that are essential to your life, right? Friends, family, shelter, food, water, and all of the good stuff. Do you have that? So, and then on the right-hand column, we're going to write down why that isn't making you happy. And that's a very fucking important question, right? Is the stuff that you have, right? And I'm implying that you have all of this. Are you healthy? Another very important thing. Perhaps time to get a checkup. Jokes aside, those things on the left-hand side, right? If you look at them and if you focus on them, what's keeping you from being happy about them? Right? Ask yourself that question. And on the right-hand side, write down why those things are not making you happy. We probably got millions and millions and probably hundreds of millions of people who are not as fortunate as you are, who don't have a roof over their head, who don't have access to the internet, who don't have food on the table, the food they want at every night or every day. We have people in the world, very many of them, who are not as healthy as you are. And those are all things to keep in mind, how fortunate you are. And now look at the things that you want. Are they really something that are so desirable that you would forfeit all of the shit that you have? That's something to contemplate, right? As bizarre as it may sound, but do you need the new shiny car that you want? Or is the old one still okay? Honestly, do you need that, vacation home somewhere? Or could you rent something? These are honest to God questions that I think, are worth asking, right? So with the basics, right, on this Maslow pyramid, with the basics that you have in there, why in the fucking hell are you not happy, considering that there are, again, I'm just pulling a number out of my ass here, but I'm assuming that it's in the hundreds of millions of people who are much worse off than you are. Right? Now look back on that sheet of paper and actually breathe in how fucking lucky you are to be in the position that you are. Because even though it may be only, quote unquote, the essentials that you have, it's, it gives you a fucking launch pad to conquer the entire fucking world. That's where I came from, right? I had this little shithole that I lived and worked in. I don't know if it even had 20 square meters. What is that? Like, I don't know, 60 square feet? No idea. Don't even think that place had it. But from there, being healthy, having a basic means of supporting myself, I launched, one or the other company. I set out to be one of the greatest consultants in the world, with clients in pretty much, I think, every continent. And, among these were, very wealthy individuals. And I got to learn and got introduced to so many fucking interesting people. This goes to say, the basics that you have are just that. You can survive. You can live. You can, you have shelter, you have food, you're healthy, get access to the internet. That's, you get access to good water. And those are some of the essentials that, you should really, really, really value. And, everything that's in front of you as goals are luxuries. And be fucking prepared at any point in life to be sent back to the basics. Because, that's how the game works. Monopoly is just that, right? For anyone who's not played it. So in that sense, I hope that this list kind of opens your eyes towards, what you actually need to live and to be happy. And that everything above that is pure luxury, which a lot of people will never in their life get access to. In that sense, I hope I was able to stimulate some thought. Have fun with the exercise. Let me know if you have additional questions that may arise. And in that sense, I hope you have a nice weekend. And we'll be in touch on Monday. So stay tuned and stay safe. And bye, folks. See you Monday.